Hi, let's talk about knitting. I don't have quite enough beverages. 1 second. That's better. Welcome back. If you're new here, this is the second episode of my knitting podcast, YouTube channel, whatever, me just talking about stuff that I've knit to somebody else other than my fiance so he doesn't get bored about it. So today we're going to talk about stuff that I've completed, stuff that I'm currently working on, and then some future plans. So let's jump right in. Okay, so first I completed my King Salmon sweater that I'm wearing here today. This has been on my list to knit for a long time. I actually learned how to knit color work just so I could knit the sweater. So yes, it's trendy, it's fish girl fall, it's all of that, but really it made me jump out of my comfort zone to try to learn a technique that I didn't already know. Super happy with how this turned out. I'll put in some footage of me wearing it just so you can see how it turned out and the drape of it after it blocked. Overall, super happy with it. I went with Knitpicks Wool of the Andes. I'm really happy with the colors I picked and the way that it bloomed after blocking. I think it really evened out the tension on all the color work. And then I also did some modifications with the sleeve. As you can see here, I added just a corrugated rib and like a tiny little diamond motif on the sleeves, as well as on the hem at the bottom of the sweater. It just felt like the right thing to do. I wanted to add a little bit more detail and got really excited by knitting color work and didn't just want to keep it plain stockinette all the way through. So yeah, that's my King Salmon sweater. I'll put in details on the side about everything that I use with the yarn, the needle sizes, and the size I ended up knitting. So yeah, this is my first finished object. Okay, the second sweater that I finished is the Sook Moon sweater that I have here. And yes, I haven't woven in the ends yet. I'm being a little bit lazy. I just finished blocking this last weekend and I just haven't got around to it because I cast something else on that you'll see shortly. But yeah, overall, really happy with how this turned out. I did have to frog it because I don't know what on earth I was thinking when I was reading the instructions for the raglan increases over here. I didn't read it properly, so I increased more frequently than I should have, and my yoke ended up just being massive. It was not going to work out at all. So I had to, unfortunately, frog all the mohair, which was not fun at all, but I think well worth it because I tried it again, read the instructions properly this time without being distracted, and I think I managed to sort everything out. And yeah, I'm really happy with how this turned out. Once again, I'll put in footage of me wearing this so you can see how it looks. I also modified this pattern as well to change the stripe, I guess, length or the thickness of the stripe. So in the original pattern, the thicker stripe repeats itself more frequently, and the just mohair stripe is a lot thinner. I changed this to be both equal length. So I found for myself it created a better look for me and my preference. So yeah, that's basically what I changed. I knit this with Hobie Extra Fine Merino and also Hobie Kid Silk Mohair. 2 strands held together for the thicker stripe and then just the mohair for the single stripe. Yeah, so this was my second finished object. Okay, moving on to whips. So my first one that I've been working on for a while now, and I spoke about last time, is this self-drafted sweater that I'm knitting for my fiance. I finished the ribbing on the bottom finally. It is so big, you guys. It's taking so long to knit on because I typically knit stuff for myself, which is a lot smaller. So it's taking a while, but I think it's coming along well. I'm basically at a point where I can pick up for the sleeves. So I should be doing that next, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to finish this in time for Christmas. Fingers crossed. Okay, editing me coming in just to let you know I did finish this in time for Christmas, and I've attached some footage of that here. Okay, the second whip that I have that I casted on, I think last weekend, and I've just been flying through it, is this one right here. It is the Tangent Sweater by Engineering Loops. And it's a cable sweater, which I love my cable knits, but it's a little bit different than your typical cable knit. So essentially it's meant to emulate like a graph. So I'll put in a picture here to explain it. The nerd in me is super obsessed with this. I love everything about this pattern. I love how it looks. I love the instructions. I love the fact that it's inspired by like math. So super exciting. It's flying off my needles. It is a thicker gauge. So I'm using 5mm needles, so it's going a lot faster because of that too. So since casting on, I've, as you can see, joined in the round, put on a collar, which it did have two options. It had a turtleneck or a folded collar. Obviously, I opted for the folded collar. I just like how that looks a little bit better on me. I feel like if I knit a turtleneck, I will have no neck at all. I don't have a long neck, and I just don't think it looks that flattering on me. So I went with the folded collar, and I'm really excited to be knitting something that's like a fun, bright blue color like this, especially in the winter time. Sometimes I get sucked into just wanting to knit neutrals, especially when it's cold out and it's not as colorful. But lately I've noticed that I like wearing more colorful things when it's gloomy and dark out. So I'm trying to do the same with stuff that I'm knitting, and I'm picking more colorful yarns and stuff that makes me feel a little bit more colorful and happy in the gloomy winter days. So yeah, this is basically how far I've gotten. Really excited to work on this. Super good pattern, very easy to read, highly recommend. Next, I've got this pair of just vanilla socks that I've been working on. So I've got one sock done here that I just cast off a few weeks ago, and then I've started the second one. I think I just have a couple more rows to go before I can basically work on the heel. So that shouldn't be too much longer at this point. The yarn is one that I picked up at a local farmer's market over the summertime. It was a local local hand-dyed yarn vendor. She had like the most beautiful hand-dyed yarn, so I picked this one up. It's a 100% merino, I believe. So it's super soft. I think there is a bit of nylon in there, so I guess not really 100%, probably like 70 or 80% merino, and then the rest is nylon, just so that it's a little bit more wearable as a sock. So yeah, excited to be working on these. I usually just bring socks when I'm in the car. It's easy to pack, easy to travel with. So yeah, chipping away at this any chance that I get. Next, my future cast on. So obviously there is so much I want to cast on, but I'm not going to make a ginormous list. There's a couple of accessories that I want to work on that I think I can get through over this winter season while I'm off work. So the first thing I want to knit is a pair of socks for my partner. Just a classic red pair of socks. I'm still new to sock knitting. The pair I just showed you is, I think, the third or fourth pair that I've ever knit. My first couple of pairs of socks, the fit was kind of weird. I had to frog one. I had to figure out what kind of heel I like for myself. So now that I've gotten a little bit more comfortable knitting socks, I want to knit one pair for somebody other than myself so that I can learn a little bit more about sizing and ensuring I know how to get a good fit. So I've got this Knit Picks yarn, Stroll. It's in the color Poppy, just a standard fingering weight sock yarn. It's a 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon. So pretty standard, classic staple sock yarn. So probably just gonna knit a vanilla sock with a 1x1 rib up top and then figure out sort of the length that he prefers and work on them from there. Okay, the last thing that I want to knit is going to be knit out of this beautiful yarn that I picked up at a local alpaca farm. I don't know if you can see very well, but it's actually like a really, really dark brown color. I only have 2 balls of this. Each ball is about 240 yards. So I'm a little bit limited in what I can knit, probably just an accessory. Because it is alpaca, I know that it's going to be really soft and really warm, and it is the start of winter here, so I was thinking of knitting some kind of hood. I'm debating between the Sophie hood, which I know is super popular and everybody's knit themselves a Sophie scarf, shawl, hood, one variation of those patterns. But the other one that I'm thinking about is the flashback hoodie, which is essentially like a balaclava and then you roll it over your head to have a hood, and it's got a couple I-cord drawstrings so that you can tighten it. Super cute pattern. So I'm trying to debate between the two of them about what I would get the most wearability out of. So comment down below if you have a preference for either of those two for this beautiful alpaca yarn that I have, about which one of those 2 patterns I should knit and whether you've knit either of those patterns. Okay, that brings me to an end. Thank you so much for joining me here today and listening to me rant and yap about my knitting projects, stuff that I've completed, stuff that I want to work on. It's just a fun way for me to document stuff that I'm making, and I'm happy to see some of you interested in watching this. So yeah, look forward to catching up probably in another couple of months. We'll see. And give you an update on everything that I finished and maybe future projects. Thanks. Bye.